everyone. Welcome to the fifth episode of Splendid Saturdays. I hope all of you are doing well and your Saturday is just amazing. Today I have with me Ravi Jaiswal. The topic for today is life's journey from gloomy days to sunshine. Welcome everyone to the fifth episode of Splendid Saturdays. Namaste, good morning, good evening from wherever you're tuning from. I have with me Ravi Jaiswal. So if you can introduce yourself so that people who are new to my channel and
Yeah,
who's
sure,
watching you for
sure.
the first time know you.
Thank you so much, Shilpa. And I come from a holy city. I did my graduation and schooling from Varanasi. I came to Delhi in 2003. Then completed my chartered accountancy, worked with multiple different organizations like EY, Barclays, and others.
So, why did you choose to speak about this topic, life's lesson? So, what kind of challenges you faced in your life, and what actually have helped you overcome those challenges?
Frankly speaking, I'll be really candid in this question. uh, Everyone has got a story which is unique and can really, if not change people, but certainly help people to relate and maybe able to connect with that with those things and connect the dots together, and it might be helpful to them. So that was the initial objective of coming up with this topic. And secondly, the most important one is in the current scenario when there is so much negativity, fear, uncertainty. I've been a tough journey, goes through a tough journey. So am I. To get through that time, I'll say pretty quickly. So I know how it feels like to be there on those dark waters, as you may say, and how it is. How there are certain things which works like magic potion from Hogwarts, and which can be given to people, and they can just literally come out of it in a very short span of time, rather than going through negativity, several lifestyle diseases, cosmetic diseases. It can be anxiety, depression, relationship, money, abundance blocks, or anything. So, challenges which came to me, because that has helped me to move towards which normally people don't take straight away. So, like I'll be using often that divine interruptions. So when God feels that you are not on your soul purpose or the soul path, He gives you a shock. That's called divine interruption, so that your soul knows you need to change your course, and then you move to the right track. So that is the initial objective, and that is the idea I wanted to come up and just what I've got.
I think that's how life is. So till the time we don't learn the lesson that life is supposed to teach us, we keep going through
Can
the
you
same
can,
challenges
sorry,
again
sorry
and
to
again.
interrupt,
So guys, since we are talking about life's lesson, I'm sure all of us have faced certain challenges in our life at whatever age we are currently. So I would like to know in the comments below if you can share your journey, any challenges which have transformed your life, which has actually made you a better person, and what practices you have followed, or uh, what have you done in order to go get over those challenges. Do mention in the comments below. So here today we'll be talking about Ravi's journey, what made him move from gloomy day to sunshine, how has he transformed his life and moved to a better version of himself. So Ravi, if you would like to share about any issues or problems which you were facing and which you have actually transformed into.
Yeah, I mean, there are many things to share about. I'm just trying to figure out which one to start with. Maybe I'll start with my college or professional journey. So I'm the only chartered accountant coming from a doctor's family. My grandfather, father, uncle, aunt, cousins, all are doctors. So the first challenge was for me by choosing the subject as commerce was I was looked down upon that, okay, he has selected commerce, that means he don't want to study or something like that. But in that time, I remember it was my dad who supported me, do it, whatever you want to. But I knew that commerce is not that interesting, but that's easy. So I went for that. I did my graduation from BHU, had a loads of fun during college. I only graduation I applied for CAT because I either wanted to be a fashion designer or a copywriter. So I only applied for MICA, that is Mudra Institute of Communication and Advertising. I didn't attend any coachings, but since I registered for CA because there was so much of peer pressure that since all our doctors, at least you have to be a chartered accountant, nothing less than that. So I couldn't clear CAT, which was understandable because I didn't prepare for that. But I did take coaching for 3 months and I flunked. And that was a kind of divine interruption for me, a shock. Okay, people can fail as well. So I thought, no, let me just focus on CA first. Then in the next attempt, I met with an accident wherein I've got around multiple fractures, 25 fractures around my knee, just a month before my exam. That was my mom that came to the hostel said leave it, but I said no, I'll be giving. And I recall that time when I used to therapy with a book on my chest, accounting standard book on my chest, flunked again. So after I flunked second time, I was absolutely clear. If I'm doing anything in life, that will be chartered accountancy, then anything else. So that's why I'm a chartered accountant. And
Amazing.
even after becoming chartered accountant, that copywriter didn't left or the fashion designer didn't left. So I applied for the top three advertising companies: JWT, Lintas, Mudras, and Taproot was doing very well, headed by Santosh Padi and Agnello Diaz. I wrote an email to Agnello Diaz directly that take me, don't give me any salary, just try me for 6 months. I'm good at copywriting. I'm a chartered accountant, but I can do copywriting. If you feel like you can keep me or leave it, but that didn't happen. But like we say, the divine has its own plan, so I'm a chartered accountant.
Okay, that's nice. And what got you onto the journey of NLP and other spirituality and other activities that you do, other modalities that you follow? What made you believe in that?
So I'll say there are a couple of things. Means my dad has been an avid reader. He must have read. He's a doctor by profession, but he must have read 10,000 books. The first book he gave
Oh,
me
that's
as
a
a gift
lot.
was in 12th standard. That was Creative Visualization and One by Shift Hera You Can Win. And I thought that what the hell is this a gift? But I recall those days that when he used to gift me books in a month or so, and he used to press me a lot about reading. And like obvious, I didn't used to read it. Till now, I haven't read a single book completely. The maximum number of pages is 35, and that's Autobiography of a Yogi. And he used to then ask me after a couple of weeks, "Have you read it?" I used to smile, and he used to tell the crux about that. So that is somewhere got into my subconscious firstly, and he used to have a keen interest in palmistry and astrology. So the only book I've read complete is one that is Heroes Classics of Palmistry, and one Australian writer. So that was a seed which was sowed, which created that interest in, you can say, occult sciences or spiritual sciences. But what really triggered is maybe 6 7 years back, when the things were not so great. When I say not so great, it reached to a point in those 6 7 years where I thought either I should run away, or either I should suicide, or I'm not good enough. So I reached to a point that that is it, and that triggered, somehow that triggered. And what what was most important during that point of time was, I can say, my lifeline in that particular point of time was my family. Whether it was my parents, it was my wife, my kid. So their face let me stay alive. So that's why I'm live today. But yeah, that is what, because there were a series of things which happened, made me professionally. I've been normally have done very well for the companies I've worked with professionally, without any exception. But when you say things go wrong, it goes wrong from every directions. So my professional life collapsed, my relationship started collapsing. I even lost my job for a different reason altogether because they moved to a different location. Recall that time when I used to go out saying with a laptop and saying I'm going for job, and I used to go to my friend's room and stay there and come back home so that my parents or my family don't feel that I'm jobless. So those were the times, but that what it triggered that journey. You can say spiritualism journey. You can say self development journey,
So
introspection
what
journey.
lessons do you think you've learned from those incidents?
Sorry,
What lessons do you think you've learned from those incidents? Hey Paridi.
many. I'll try to keep it very short and simple. The first thing is, if you wanna just make it to one word, perseverance is the first word comes to my mind. Uh, there will be tough times in life always. Nobody is untouched by it, and you will face the hell any point of time. Some face early, some face in the later stages, but that is for sure that you will be facing hell once. So just be aware that it will also pass by, because but the problem is when we are not able to figure that out, and we need some mentor or guide who can hold our hand and pick it up. And
Right.
I
So
feel
who
that
was
the
your mentor?
reason for, sorry,
So who was your mentor?
my mentor,
Yeah. So who was your mentor who
there are
helped you come out of your darkness?
there are many. I'll say I'm blessed that I've attracted a lot of mentor. Might be the law of attraction works great for me. I just bumped into the right people at the right time. Means I've learned so many things from so many people. I can't list all of them. So there are, like, my first mentor is my parents, like my father or my mother, and then there are many gurus I've learned from. Maybe Reiki from a different guru, Beach Mantra from a different guru, NLP from a different one, Sacred Geometry, Biogeometry, Divine Sign Language, and currently I'm also learning fingerprint science from a different guru. I do professional stuff as well. Like, I'm also learning data science, AI, and stuff like that. So they are also gurus. So there are many gurus, and I'll say I've been blessed that right people have picked me up at the right time. And I'll tell you the reason
I think
why
it's
I've been
because
picked.
I think it's
I'll
because
tell you
of
the
your
reason.
trust. Because
Yeah,
yeah,
please go
because
ahead.
if you don't trust the process, you will yeah.
Yes, trust is very, very important. One of the important life lessons I say is trust and surrender, because people are like we say that I'm not trying to be too logical or too philosophical, but people say this is your body, your mind, you control your subconscious mind. Even if you are able to control your subconscious mind, you'll be a billionaire or a billionaire. That's great. But if you are able to connect to your soul, yeah, slightly heavy topic, but I'm touching that. If you are able to connect to your soul and its life purpose, it will be things will be you will feel that you are in Hogwarts and you have got a lot of potions which are like the magic potions from Hogwarts. It works like that. So what is important to get into that stage? I can talk about the subconscious mind, that how do you reach to alpha or the or the theta stages. There are meditations. YouTube is filled with that. You can just go through any one of that. What are the right frequency we should be right. Mr. Howell has written a lot about fear has got the lowest frequency and bliss has got the highest. Love and above has got the highest frequency. So that is about the mind. Even if you are able to control that, you are blessed. Your this life is sorted. I'm talking about your next life so that you are able to sort that out, clear those karmic balances and things and stuff. The single most important thing which comes out is surrender, but people don't know how to surrender. That's where they need a
Right,
guide.
that's the
And I'll
biggest
give you a
challenge.
1 minute formula with a litmus test wherein you can test that whether you are able to surrender or not. So,
Okay. And what is that?
before that, surrender everything to the divine, and everything will be so lucid. Like I said, it will work like a magic potion from Hogwarts. So the simple test is goes like this. Just if you are able to close your eyes for maybe 2 minutes and just observe your thoughts, how many thoughts you are getting. That's a day one. For example,
Mm-hmm.
in a minute you get 20 thoughts, or for example, some
Mm-hmm.
might be 50. And then, whatever way you are trying to connect with one energy, because I believe in spiritual science, not the religion, because the science behind it. Whatever you believe in that one energy, whatever you connect with, once you are surrendering to that, you'll notice that, for example, if you're closing your eyes for 5 minutes and you're getting like 50 thoughts, if you are able to reduce your thoughts gradually, that means you have started surrendering. For example, if I close my eyes and I see, oh, I have to pay my home installment, I've invested in my shares, what will happen? Then I think about, oh, my kid is going to school, how will he do, and everything. That means you haven't surrendered. Trust me. It sounds very simple, and I'm explaining it in a very layman language. Trust me, this is the litmus test. And if you are able to reduce your thoughts from 50 to even 40 in next 6 months or in an year, you are on the right path. So this is very, very important to surrender, because I can bet on that. Follow this practice for 6 months and you'll see wonders happening in life.
I certainly agree because I think trusting the process and surrendering to the universe is the only way. So you call it universe, you call it God, whosoever you believe in. I think that's the key. Overcome any negative situation or a difficult situation in our life.
Yeah. So if you are getting any questions, we can take few of them, and then I can go on the another lesson, because I've got many. So I'll try to keep it short and simple so that I'm able to cover most of the learnings which are being there. So if you had got any questions or
Sure, you
maybe
can go ahead. So in
and
case we get questions, we'll take it up. You can continue with your journey so that people get inspired by your journey and they get some answers to their questions. Because I'm sure like all of us who are watching us today or anybody who's there on this call is actually going through some challenges or have gone through some challenges in past, and everybody have got a different way of dealing through that issue or the problem. So I would first like to understand your ways of dealing with your problems, because see, not everybody understands um, the concept of getting into deeper modalities like NLP, hypnotherapy, or stuff like that. But if you can help people understand simple ways to help them deal with their everyday issues or bigger challenges in life, that will be a big help for everybody who's watching us today?
I can tell it so simply that people won't trust it that it is that simple. That's why I want to make it a bit complicated. I'll just summarize at the last. But let me share another life lesson, which has been another important one. So the first one was perseverance. Second one is trusting the process and surrendering to whatever energy, whatever you feel, whatever you believe in, right? The third one, which is very, very important and cause of most of the pains, most of your diseases, most of your, who understand the chakra, most of the misalignment of your chakras, ailments, sugar, BP, and so many things is that drop your baggage before it's too late. I want to I'm able to connect one anecdotal story which was shared by a very young and famous storyteller.
Ravi, I've got a question from Paridhi. She wants to know what are the learnings that we are going to get from today's session. So, what are we actually trying to aim in today's session? So, Paridhi, what we are trying to aim in today's session is, like Ravi's mentioned his topic as life's learning from gloomy day to sunshine. So all of us, like we all know, have gone through certain challenges in our past or are going through certain challenges in our current life. So, to overcome those challenges and move from a phase wherein we have moved out of the darkness and become a better version of ourselves. So, in today's conversation, Ravi is trying to help all of us talk about his issues, wherein he has faced certain problems in his life and he's come out of those problems and he's a happier version of himself. He's no more into the mode wherein we call people depressed or anxious. He's happy with his own soul. He's happy in his own space. So this is what we want to address to all of you today who's watching us, that life is difficult, life might seem difficult, but if you can trust the process, and you can trust the universe, and you can surrender to the universe, everything will work in your favor, because at the end of the day, we all are here with a purpose, and all of us have a life's purpose. Until the time we don't learn that thing, life will actually throw us with challenges. So it's the faster we learn, the faster we get out of our problems. And the best thing about problems or time is it does change. If you are in a bad or a negative situation, it will not last forever. It will change, time will change. Like good situations do change, bad situations also change. So just trust the process, don't get stuck, don't be in the mood of negativity, or don't let depression or anxiety take over you. Just trust the process and try and surrender yourself. We have a question: how do we leave heartbreak, loss, and move on? So, Faisal, I have a small advice here. I'm sure all of us have had heartbreak in our life, even if it's not the person we love, our spouse or a partner. We do have had heartbreak related to friends, family, parents, anybody who's actually not been there for us when we needed them, or they were not the way we wanted them to be. So, the best way to deal with heartbreak is to take a break from that situation, try and focus on what you have, and try and be positive about what you have at that particular point of time, because now you can't change the perspective of other person, you cannot change the other person. All you can change is yourself. Go within, change yourself, and try to focus on just the positive. Even if the person who's hurt you, try and forgive that person. Forgiveness is the key. If you forgive that person, you will be able to overcome any heartbreak, any kind of issues in life. I hope that answers your question. Ravi, you have anything to add to this?
Certainly, but I'll try to keep it very short and simple. Again, just trust the divine plan. Who has not or been separated, was not meant for you. They came in your life for a reason, to teach you a lesson. Their work is done. try to heal yourself. There are so many things. I can tell you basic meditations as well. For example, there are self-love meditation. Work on your heart chakra. Until unless you are loved, you won't attract love. So the basic meditations you can do is self-love meditation and work on your heart chakra. Follow green color and trust the divine process. That is all.
Do you have the links of certain meditations which you can help people follow? Because see, a lot of people can't meditate on their own, but if they are following guided meditation, it will be of help to them. So for people to accept themselves or to love themselves first, meditation will be able to help them. So we can share the link in the description of this chat video. If you have the link of any guided meditation which you think can help these guys.
And just wanna, since you touched upon that topic, Shilpa, just wanna add on to that one more thing. Because when we talk, since we talk about meditations, normally, I'll tell you, normally our conditionings happen when we are at the age of 7. Our subconscious mind is active till the age of 7. So we never know as a kid what we have gone through. If you have seen your parents fighting at the age of 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, 6 till 7, because that alpha and theta level is naturally open for a kid till 7. We as an adult, we need to meditate and do so many practices to get into that state for few minutes. But kids till the age of 7 are naturally into that stage. So if anything they have seen or anything they have gone through like that, it is more likely to impact their future relationships as well. That is why I touched upon that point. It is also important to do inner child healing. That is a very, very effective meditation. And it really works wonders because around 90% of the emotional baggages or the blockages we are carrying when we were less than 7 years old. And we never know.
So
Even our parents
so it
didn't know it.
basically starts before the child is born, when the kid is in
Yeah,
the womb
exactly.
of the mother. It starts developing since then. That's why it's said that during the entire pregnancy, the woman should remain happy because the child is learning from that particular phase itself.
Yeah, true.
So I have a question. How do we get rid of procrastination? So Ranveer, my answer to your question is to get rid of procrastination, you have to first start believing that that is something which you want in your life. And if you get certain thing, whatever you want to do, what effect if you get that thing will have on your life. So if you want to change your position and you want to move towards something better, try focusing your attention to it. Even if your brain tells you not to do it, try to do it until one day your brain gets tired and it stops telling you not to do it. So the moment you start doing something and your mind tells you not to do it because it's not that important, tell yourself, answer yourself that what if you will do this thing, how will it change your life or how will it make your life a better life. So this way, if you keep answering yourself every time your mind stops you from that particular thing, you will be able to move on and be able to continue doing that thing which you don't want to do, or which is restricting you from doing that. And gradually you will see, after a week or so or 10 days maybe, after practicing it constantly, you will be able to continue to do that, and that fear or that procrastination or whatever was stopping you will eventually go. I hope that answers your question. Yes, Ravi.
Just I want to add something that was very wonderfully explained, Shilpa. Just want to add one part of it. I'll try to keep it very simple. So there are three gunas: tamas, rajas, and sattva. So
What does that mean?
tamas is all three are important. The right balance is important. So if there is lack of or lesser tamas, you will not be sleeping. If that increases, you will become lethargic, and that leads to procrastination as well. And if it gets hyperactive, people get into depression, the tamas. Then rajas is
So is there a way to control that?
sorry. Your voice somehow I lost you. Can you please repeat your question?
I'm saying, is there a way to control that?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. So
Okay.
first is my tamas, which is in a very simple terms, it is necessary to have sleep. That's why tamas is there. So if it gets excess, it starts with procrastination and it can bog you down till depression. Then is the another guna that is called rajas. Can you clap your hand like this, please? Can you clap it? This is rajas. The energy to do something is called rajas, right? If this gets active, people can be very aggressive. It can lead to high blood pressures, hypertension, and everything. So the right balance of tamas and rajas is important. And the way to
So Pariti is asking, what exactly is tamas?
sorry, guna.
What exactly is,
It's the guna
sorry?
in the body. There are three gunas: tamas, rajas, and sattva. Tamas is which makes you sleep, keeps you calm. It becomes excess. It will lead to lethargy, then to procrastination. Too much procrastination may lead to depression. I can tell in
Got it.
detail, but I'm just trying to be conscious of the time
Yeah,
and
it's
trying to cut
okay.
it short.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Pariti, I hope he's answered your question.
Okay, that was the question. Okay. So,
Yeah, that was a question from Pariti. Yeah.
yeah. Then Rajas is the energy. If you work, you do something, that is Rajas. We can't survive, we can't even move without Rajas. But if it gets too active, you can be too aggressive, you can harm other people. So if Rajas is active, if Tamas is active, you can harm yourself. That is depression, right?
Okay.
Sattva is important to balance these two, Tamas and Rajas. And how do you increase your Sattva? Again, first thing, surrender to the divine process, do meditations, do nature walks, do water therapy, and there are many, three, four things. I think nature walk, go to see the nature, enjoy the rain, listen to your best song, do some meditation, and maybe come more often to Splendid Saturdays. That will help.
Thank you. So I have a question from Faisal. He asks, how do you get past the negative emotions during failure? First of all, Faisal, I would like to tell you, never consider failure, never associate failure with negative emotions, because when you fail at something, that means at first you've tried, because there are a lot of people who are not even confident to try certain things, but you or anybody who's failed at something has actually tried that thing, so you should first applaud yourself because you've tried that thing. And trying itself makes you a better version of yourself or a better person over the other person who's actually not even tried that thing. So, getting over the negative emotion, I would say the best thing is to practice gratitude, which I've always mentioned in all my videos. That practice gratitude, that is the key to a happy life. To actually think about things that we have in life, which we always forgive, things that we start taking for granted. So practice gratitude and don't take failure as a negative emotion or situation wherein you go into a state of depression, because failure is something that is associated with you moving on or doing something in your life, which for me I think is a very good state, and I would never associate failure with something negative anymore ever since I started learning the lessons of life. So I hope that answers your question, Faisal. So all you can do is to get rid of the past negative emotions related to failure is to practice gratitude. Just keep thanking yourself, thanking the universe, thanking whatever you have in your life. Give thanks to the opportunity that you got when you actually tried, even if you failed at it. Do not regret anything in your life. Just learn everything from that experience, even if you failed in that experience. To learn something out of it. Do not take it as just a negative thing. So every experience actually teach you something. So I'm sure even the most negative situation teaches you something. Yes, Ranveer, exactly. Attitude of gratitude always. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you, Paridi. Anything you would like to add over this?
Sorry, you were saying me? Saying to me?
Anything you would like to add, Ravi?
No,
Anything you would
it was
like to
very
add
well.
over this?
It was very well articulated, I'll say, Shilpa. But yeah, certainly can say that I can tell you my story because I've had so many failures. That's what I'm today. Your successes don't teach you, your failures does.
I'm sure every failure has a lesson to teach us, and like I mentioned in the beginning, that till the time we will actually learn a lesson that our life is supposed to teach us, or the purpose that we are here for, till the time we reach that purpose, our life will keep teaching us lessons, hard way or easy way or the toughest way. But till the time we learn those lessons, we will keep meeting challenges. And life is actually a journey. It cannot be always happy days. It has to be gloomy days as well,
True. Very
and
well
it's up
explained.
to us if we learn something from those situations, or we actually um, become negative because of those situations. It's entirely in our hand.
True.
Ravi, are
I
you
think,
talking? Ranveer, are you talking about Ho'oponopono prayer? Because
yeah,
you
I can tell.
mentioned Oponopono, because there's nothing.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
Ho'oponopono.
No,
Mr.
I'm
Vitale
just,
has.
yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just checking. There's a question from Ranveer. If it's exactly this is what he wants. If Ranveer, is your question about Ho'oponopono technique, the prayer, Hawaiian prayer? Hi, Jasmine. So good to have you.
I just didn't want to answer it, but I just wanted to highlight it's going on 95% discount by Joe Vitale as of now. If someone want to
Yeah,
take.
I've been seeing this all over Facebook and Instagram. There's a lot of ads coming up for that. So he's
Yeah.
giving it at a very good offer. Okay, so Ranveer wants to
But
know about the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is actually a prayer for reconciliation and forgiveness. So, whatever you've done in your life, you can actually seek forgiveness from the people who are no longer serving you, or any situation which is no longer serving you or yourself. So, we have what we are today is actually the outcome of what we have done in the past. So, we all have whatever decisions we've taken in our past have an effect on our current and existing life, even if it's not serving you. So the prayer which talks about the prayer talks about seeking forgiveness from yourself. So let me give you a very small example. So for example, you are 25-year-old today, and there was a decision which you took when you were 20-year-old, and because of that decision your current life is getting affected, and you're no longer happy with that decision which you took. So while doing that, actually think yourself, take your back in that memory time when you were actually 20-year-old. Visualize yourself as 20-year-old. Take yourself to that memory when you took that decision which is affecting your current life, and forgive yourself. Ask for forgiveness from your 20-year-old self. And there are only four phrases and mantras, whatever you want to call them, which you need to repeat them until you feel complete. uh, I love you. So keep repeating those mantras again and again so that you can seek forgiveness from yourself. So you can practice this prayer twice in the day, morning, early morning when you wake up and before going to bed, so that you can get that positivity in your life and you can actually forgive yourself or the person or the situation you want to forgive. This prayer actually does wonder and will actually change your life, for you to become a better version of yourself, and anything that is affecting you from your past will no longer affect you if you ask for forgiveness from yourself. So I hope I answered your question, Ranveer.
Maybe
Sorry.
you can ask your life, I'll say not question, your life question. Something which has been like in your mind, but you couldn't get chance to answer, or you are not convinced with the answers or anything. I'll try my level best or my best endeavors that I am able to touch that.
Okay. I really haven't thought about that, but like everybody, I'll also say that for me, life has been a biggest teacher, and all my experiences have taught me something. I would not say my life has been like full of sunshine. Of course, I also had my gloomy days, and I've learned a lot of lessons from my past, and that is what I've realized now. Till the time you don't learn the lessons which your life is trying to teach you, it will keep throwing same problems in your life. So you'll actually see the loop of problems. And from my past situations or experiences, I would say I have learned those lessons, and I try and connect with the answers now. I've learned, gone through so many modalities myself. I've been part of, I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I've learned Reiki myself, and connecting to all these things and joining the dots of my past, now I realize where I am today is actually the result of whatever thoughts I'd created in the past. And I have a better purpose in my life, and that's why those challenges or those problems were thrown in my life at that particular time. And like you mentioned earlier in this conversation, that when we are going through those difficult days, we don't understand what's wrong in our life. So when you actually go through it and when you actually come out of it, I would say that is when you realize why you were in that situation at that time. And when you
That's
connect the dots of the past, you learn that life has actually taught you so many things. And I think I would actually say my problems or my gloomy days have actually made my life a better life. And today, wherever I am, I'm at a better space where I was like a couple of years back, a few years back when I started facing problems in my life. So, but there are certain things, of course, I'm still working on, and there's certain issues and answers which I still seek. And one of the questions which I have in my mind for a while now, and which I keep asking a lot of people also, like I believe a lot in law of attraction. I mean, I believe in the power of gratitude, law of attraction, the universe. I trust the universe. I believe in God or any power which is higher than us, which is above us. I believe in all of that. There's a question that I have in mind, and I've been asking that if we are destined to have certain experiences in our life, so if we are destined to have certain negative experiences in our life, so how does law of attraction actually work in that case? Because law of attraction says whatever you want to attract, you can attract using trusting your instinct or trusting the universe. But if it's part of my, how do I change that? How do I change my belief system?
okay. So, firstly, so that I have understood your problem. Sorry, not problem, the question. And it was really wonderful to know your learnings. And certainly, I can say that you are a light worker. Be that beacon of light for others always, which you are doing already. Secondly, your question is since everything is kind of ordained or maybe destined, how does law of attraction works? Or we can say that if everything is written, why we are working to achieve something, right? Let's make it more simple.
Right.
No, we are not
Yeah,
going.
so it's like if part of my destiny, that's why I had XYZ issues in my life,
Yeah.
and that is something I want to work on my life. That is something I want again. So if that is a part of my destiny, so how can law of attraction or universe or God help me get that again? So it's like
Okay,
that.
that's great. So normally people say good question when the question is tough. I'll say really good question, right? But I'd love to answer that. Just tell me whether I was able to or not. So to answer that, you need to understand something, and I need to go uh, because this can't be answered materially. I'll have to tell you some concepts spiritually, then only I'll be able to answer that. Is it okay with that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So you need to understand firstly, you are not your body or your mind. You are
Mm-hmm.
that energy, or you can say that spiritual being who's having that bodily experience on this earth. You are here on earth for a reason, right? I won't get into the detail why in Hinduism we have got Mundan ceremony on all. So there is a reason for that. So, and the soul travels to earth again and again and again till it completes its soul contract. So, for example, everyone's journey is different. And if I was doing very well, I was helping people and doing all the good stuffs. That means I was doing some good karmas or good actions. And suddenly I was like hooked and gone up. And at a rebirth, then it doesn't mean that I'll have to start from the scratch. I'll get those fruits in the current birth. That's why people say that he is a matured soul. He must have worked in Purane Janmo ka Phal and all those stuff.
Right,
So that's
right.
actually true. So these are facts. Means there might be certain people who can challenge that. They can read Vedas and Puranas and very much scientifically validated to a certain
Well,
extent. But there
if
are
we talk
certain things.
about a normal person, Ravi, but my question is, hey, Alicia. So, if we talk about a normal person, as a layman, not everybody gets into the ancient arts or the soul retrieval path and everything. So, if I talk about a normal person like you and I who do not understand, we do understand, but
Yeah,
there are a lot of people who don't understand spirituality at all, or who are not much into religion also. So if you want to explain them in a layman language, how would you like to explain them?
I'll try my
Like I
best.
also got a question. Uh, like I got a question that can we change our destiny? So, if we have to answer as a layman to a person who doesn't
Okay,
understand any of the religion or any of
fine,
the spirituality, so what would be your answer? Hi
fine,
Priyanka.
fine. So what is important is the most important thing is action, because people, what is destiny? Destiny is the debit or those who understand accounts, and I come from that background, so I'll be
I think
using
account
that.
is still easier for people to understand.
Okay, I'll make it much easier. So whatever positive or negative balance of deeds you have got in your life, the summation, for example, I've done more good deeds and less bad deeds, that means I have a positive balance, right? So that positive balance is the fruit which we get in the current life. So if you are having a great life, that doesn't mean, to a larger extent, doesn't mean that because you are born to some rich family, that's why you are having that great life. That is the net balance of your good deeds which you have done in the past. What is destiny is, whatever, if you have done some really great deeds in the past, it will make you more lucky so that you are able to achieve it. But the most important thing is karma. If you are not doing the karma, which is action, then, because karma is important to generate your soul, not going into soul contract, whether positive karma or negative karma, then only you will be able to reach to your destiny. You won't, for example, I'll take one example. I've got a very strong luck line, I've got a very strong travel line, and I'll be flying to London someday. But if I don't get my passport made, will I ever be flying? No. So karma is important. Until people say that if everything is destined, why to work for that? Why to do LOA? right? So karma is the most important thing. Destiny
So
changes
is it?
basis destiny changes basis your karma. If you're doing the right karma, your destiny will change. I've practically seen the lines have the lines changing in palmistry. I've practically seen it. Basis your good karmas. So
So all you're trying to say is, if we keep doing the good deeds, and if we keep doing all the good deeds again and again, irrespective of the outcome, irrespective of getting anything in return of that, we'll change our karma, or we'll change our destiny. I mean,
yeah, just to add on to the, you'll get more and more luckier. Plus, doing good deeds and surrender. Because if you won't surrender, for example, I'll tell you what will happen. You go to a bike, you get skid and you get some scratches. If you surrender, you'll say, okay, would have been worse, right? And if you don't, you'll say, oh God, I was just coming from the temple and see what happened. So that's why surrender is so important to whatever your belief system is. Surrender
so
and
basically,
doing.
just trust the process.
Sorry.
So it's like trusting it's like trusting the
Yeah,
process while doing the good deeds.
trusting the process, doing good deeds. When I say good deeds, you should be clear from the heart. If there is something fishy in your heart, I'll give 5 kgs of sweets to that person because he'll be signing a contract for me. That is not good deed. That will help you.
Got
You
it.
might get that contract, but you might get some tensions with the contract as well. So that's what I was trying to understand. Hope I was able to touch it because this is such a in-depth topic. I'll have to get into some really what do you call serious topics of spirituality, soul maturity, past lives. Then only I'll be able to answer that. So
Yeah,
it was
that
just a light
maybe
question.
that's something we can cover some other time, because today it's
Yeah,
like just
sure.
giving a
Sure.
gist of life's experiences to people. So once people understand how to overcome the negativities or the negative patterns in their life, I think then they'll be more prepared to go deeper into the other modalities like past life or spirituality, and we can dig deeper also. I
Sure.
think it has been a great session. We've answered a lot of questions, and we'll definitely get back to your answers. If you have more questions, you can send and write us in the comments so that we can get back to you again. But I think for this session, we'll not go deeper into soul and the different parts of soul and the rebirths of soul, reincarnation, and stuff like that, because that's too deeper. So we'll probably keep it for another session some other time, because that's altogether a different science behind it. So we'll probably discuss that soon again. So thank you guys for joining in, and it was amazing to have you all here in the fifth episode of Splendid Saturdays. Thank you.